We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Michael Devine at AM 1400.
In the name of justice and the American way of life.
With 60 rounds of freedom.
That's right. We have 60 rounds of freedom at all times. You can join us. There are audio and video on my Facebook page. It's AM 1400 KBFT. Listen to Tim putting the moves on Ann. Slide over this way, baby. He's hard to resist, isn't he, Ann?
I'm trying.
She just swallowed her own vomit there for a second. I'm sorry.
I just threw up a little bit.
I think, actually, and I hate to tell you this, you do need to move over near Tim a little bit more.
Okay.
So we can get, I think we're getting it there.
All
I think
right.
There you go.
we're trying to get both Tim and Ann in the
It's
video.
actually your stand there,
Yeah,
the Doctor of Truth. You're the
I
one
know
that's
it.
blocking it.
I don't know.
There you go.
Maybe I can get over
That's it.
here. Get over. Okay, all right.
Maybe it's-
We're gonna move it all around. Well, I think we've got just about the best we're gonna get it.
Move the camera.
Well, let's try that. Okay. Can we slide that sucker? No, that's not working. Oh, well, I guess that's just gonna
I think we got enough of me,
Yeah,
Mike.
we're
It's
good.
okay. People know
All
what
right.
I look like.
Okay.
And if you want, we can switch spots. I mean,
No. We're all
halfway through
We're all good.
at
here.
3:30, we'll switch spots.
Anyway, Senator Tim Kraayenbrinck is here and Representative Ann Meyer. And if you have a question or comment for either of our elected officials today, it's 515-955-1400. Guys, we got to start with the governor's speech on, was it Monday?
Yep.
Tuesday night. Yep.
Tuesday night. Okay. I saw you there, Ann, a couple of times. I texted you while you were
Yes, you did.
And I texted Representative Scrappy, too. But do you think he would text me back? No. He just won't talk to me. I guess I insulted a pig or something along the line because Scrappy's not talking to me.
Oh, boy.
Which is his loss, by the way.
It is his loss.
All right. But I saw a couple, like Whitford, I saw a couple of representatives there.
Well, they were very, it was a light crowd in the chamber. We didn't have guests on the floor. The senators didn't come sit near us. And half the chamber, not half the chamber now, 40% of the chamber was empty because our colleagues didn't show up.
Because of COVID. Or because they were opposed to Governor Reynolds again, or what?
I'm not sure why.
Do you have any idea, Tim?
No, I know nothing.
Just don't go all Sergeant Schultz on me now. I know nothing.
But she just gave such a nice address. It was such a message of hope. And really, the people of Iowa are what make Iowa great. Think of everything, how everyone chipped in through the derecho, which luckily our area wasn't really affected. It wasn't really affected. It wasn't affected at all. But, there's a huge swath of the state that was without power for weeks.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
I was down there because my son lives down there. You wouldn't believe it. There were cornfields flattened for miles. It was amazing. I've never seen anything like
Yeah, you go down through Greene County, even on the way south, or even you go down 17 and down to the Woodward area, and tell you what, it was pretty devastating.
You're so improved on the microphone there, and isn't she, Tim? I mean, she was a little nervous there when we first got going here, but I think she's got it. Yeah, she got it under control now. As a matter of fact, I noticed that about Governor Reynolds as well, and I understand this. I was talking about it a little bit earlier. Most people, if you walk up to them and stick a microphone in their face, they're taken aback. But Governor Reynolds appeared there. The first time I met Governor Reynolds in person was in this studio when she was lieutenant governor, and she was here with Governor Branstad. Then Governor Branstad. Of course, he was an old hat. He knew what to do. She was a little nervous at the mic, but I didn't see any of that on Tuesday night. She looked very confident, and she had a great grasp of what's happening, I think. She gave some attention to the environment. Are we going to see any progress on environmental legislation this year or not, do you think?
Are you talking about the 1 cent sales tax?
Yeah, that's exactly what
it really wasn't, directly addressed in her speech. At the end of the first part of the session last year when COVID had started is about when Governor Reynolds was actually starting to lobby for her plan. And, she was just kind of testing the waters with the senators in the House of Representatives, having her people, kind of ask us what our opinions were. And then of course, COVID hit and all the attention went directly to that, and everything, just went totally off the rails as far as, the agenda, and we basically went into survival mode, just wanted to get things done that needed to be done to make sure the state of Iowa continued to function, no matter what happened, because we didn't know if we were going to be coming back in June, or we didn't know if we were going to come back at all. But we wanted to get things put in place as quickly as possible, just in case the very, very, very worst scenario happened and we weren't able to get together or function as a legislative body again. So,
okay, you mean as far as the COVID thing is concerned?
Yeah, we just didn't know. Like, we still don't know a lot of things, But so, with COVID still here, with us trying to get the state totally opened back up again, to get our economy, we've got about a 3.5% unemployment. I think we were up in the 8 area, 8 or 8.5 or 9 at the highest point during COVID. And, we were at 2 before COVID hit, and we had jobs that were open. We couldn't find people that would even apply for jobs. And so now I think our focus has to be on making sure that our community colleges and the people that are training or retraining our workforce are ready and able and going hard at this time to get some of our workforce that may not go back to what they were doing before to be trained in a new area that hopefully they can have a higher salary and maybe better benefits, get them trained up so we can get them into some of the jobs that are available that we're not able to fill at this time either.
Well, I talked with Jim Kirsten Tuesday when I usually talk to Jim, and he seemed to believe that education funding for junior colleges like Iowa Central, community colleges would be all right under Governor Reynolds' education plans this year. Is that the way you understood it?
That's the way I understood it too. And I think particularly in our caucus and probably in the Senate too, but I can't speak for that. We support community colleges probably more than we do the regions. I mean, we want to see them prosper because
the regions being what? I'm sorry.
The regions
being regions.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Because they are training. First of all, they offer a good education at a good price, and they are training our workforce. They're training people to take jobs that our Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance is recruiting in. And if they know that some type of training is going to be done, Iowa Central will develop a program and train those people. And a lot of times the people that are getting trained by our community colleges can basically have a degree and be hitting the ground running within, a year and a half. And so you can go from being a high school junior to pulling down $40,000 to $50,000 a year in some instances. If you get involved in the windmill programs or solar industry, sure, you could be as high as $80,000 a year, within a year and a half, and not basically graduating from college without any debt, which is attractive to some people.
Would have been attractive to me.
Yeah,
I had debt.
Yeah.
You didn't have any debt though, because you were a stud quarterback, right? You went.
Well, I was a quarterback. I don't know if you put the first word in front of it or not.
You went to school up in South Dakota, North State or something?
Northern State, yeah.
Northern State.
Yeah.
Is that where? Is that in Aberdeen?
Yep.
Okay, that's where Tom, the former Senate Majority Leader, was from. Daschle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tom
up in that area.
Yeah, it was up around that area. Where did you go to college there?
Mercy College of Detroit. I went.
Mercy College.
I knew I was going for nursing. I knew I wanted a 4-year degree right off the bat, and I chose a college that was 7 minutes from my house. It probably wasn't the best choice. Probably community college would have been a smarter choice back then because private schools cost more, and I didn't realize the difference back then. And but it all worked out.
You're probably looking for a husband too, weren't you?
Yeah.
Not in college, I wasn't.
you married Jim and gave the bill to him. Here, take care of this. Well, you have $50,000.
Deferred payment plan.
Deferred payment plan. But Mercy, that sounds like a school that is dedicated to nursing.
It had it has the best program in Detroit for nursing. And I knew that because I did live close by and I had made a visit there. And they graduate very good nurses.
Well, after a hospital stint in November, I very much appreciate nurses.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. You can.
Yeah,
so
but
you
do they
see
appreciate you?
Not much. I kept trying to flash them. They said they didn't want to see it,
If
but
you
I
just would have had more strength.
If
right?
I just had a little more strength, but they had the, with the I had the oxygen. I don't know. That just didn't work out. So I believe the governor mentioned gun control. Tim, did you hear that in her speech or not? Or is this
Second Amendment, you mean?
Yeah, Second Amendment to
protect the Second Amendment.
To protect.
The two things that we're trying to get through this year, which I think we're going to be able to do, is, and I hope we have the House on board with both of them, but it's to make a constitutional amendment, and that's what we talked about before with guns as well as life, and it's not having 150 legislators and one governor making the decision for the whole state. A constitutional amendment goes to the voters. So to me, that's true legislation. When you run a bill, you have to run it in 2 consecutive assemblies. So this would be the second assembly because we did them last time too.
We did the Second Amendment, but the Life Amendment was not run in the last assembly.
Okay, so we would have to do the Life Amendment this assembly, and then wait a year, and then when we run for election again, that'll be the next assembly, and it would have to be passed again, and then it goes on to the ballot. So right with all of us that are on the ballot, and so people will get to vote yes or no if they like how that amendment to the Constitution is worded. Mm-hmm. But if we pass the Second Amendment, constitutional amendment again, this time that'll be on our voting card next time we vote.
Okay. Wow, real democracy. Is that what you're talking
yes.
about?
Well, I think it's. I agree with
you know
that.
what I think it's shameful if we don't give Iowans the opportunity to vote on every controversial issue.
I do as well. I don't think that should be that should be.
Because you know what, it can happen, and then it's already in the Constitution, and then all of a sudden you go vote the person out. Well, what good does that do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still there.
Yeah.
So I guess my thought is just let the people of Iowa vote. And
that's why I've railed against the Supreme Court. Oh, it's constitutional. It's not constitutional because 7 lawyers say it is. That's not but it happens. And the media picks it up. Well, it's constitutional.
It's an interpretation of the Constitution.
It's an interpretation of the Constitution, but I still don't think that should be left up to 7 lawyers or 9 at the federal level.
Well, then a lot of times when that happens, we have to come back and legislate and tighten it up, or tighten the words up, so they can't misinterpret. I mean,
otherwise they will.
A, B, C. I mean, you basically have to draw it out, and so then when you do that, but that still has to go to the voters. Mm-hmm. It still has to go and be passed by the majority of Iowans.
Sure it does. And that is democracy, of course.
I think so.
But I totally disagree with the concept of the Supreme Court at the state and federal level to this day.
Is that the fire alarm?
No.
Okay.
No,
that's somebody's pacemaker.
No, it's a tornado warning.
Okay.
Don't worry. It usually comes down second half.
Well, you're talking about her not being nervous but she's sure nervous about everything else.
Yeah. Fire alarm, fire.
Just checking.
Okay. No, I think we're okay. If flames break out, we can always go out this window.
Well, I can.
You can. I don't know if Tim and I can.
Well, you probably will make it after all the weight you lost.
Well, we'll just kick a hole in the wall.
You know what? If I would have had my COVID maybe in the last 3 weeks, I probably could have made it out of there. But
I don't know if you don't like the whole oxygen thing for a week, for 5 days, and some of the other things.
No, I was fortunate. Our whole family was fortunate.
Yeah. And a couple other people here in the radio station got COVID, and it was pretty much like you did. I mean, they might have taken a couple of days off,
right?
But then they were back to work after 4 or 5 days.
Well, I think they're supposed to stay out for 10 days or 14 days.
Isolation period.
Oh, well, maybe they didn't come
back. Don't be naming.
I don't know.
Don't be naming those people.
Yeah.
Western County Health is going to come out.
No, I'm not going to. COVID's probably the least of the diseases they have.
See what he says about us when we leave.
Wouldn't do it. I wouldn't say anything like that. Anyway, Ann Meyer, Representative Ann Meyer, and Senator Tim Kraayenbrinck are our guests.
You know, we both have new spots down there too.
You
You
do?
might want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, let's have it.
Go ahead.
Well, this year I'm the chair of Human Resources,
Look out.
which is the health policy section of the government. So all health policy bills will be coming through my committee. We had our first committee meeting on Tuesday, and we this is very timely and obviously very important. I get a lot of constituent contact about this. So the vaccine program is rolling out. So Director Garcia and Ken Sharp, who is he's got a long title at IDP, Iowa Department of Public Health. They're in charge of the vaccine rollout and who's going into, phase 1A, 1B, 1C. So we got a really good update on where the vaccine program is right now. We're still in 1A, which is healthcare workers and long-term care residents, because we know that they're the most vulnerable right now. We've been in this phase since the end of December. We'll probably be in here for several more weeks. And then 1st of December, they'll start opening up to 1B, which is essential workers. And there's a list of them online, but they include teachers. They include EMS workers, EMS, fire, police,
Fire, yeah.
And really any essential worker. I would like to see us prioritize teachers first, because they are, we are required. We want, as a legislature and as citizens, we want our kids back in school full time.
Sure.
Face to face. Now, Fort Dodge has been doing a great job. They've had at least 2 days a week, if not more, face to face. But Des Moines Public Schools have not been in face to face since March.
That's some kind of attitude they have on the school board down there, though, isn't it?
Well, they're really defying the governor's
That's kind of what I
The law.
thought. And who enforces
and the law. That's
who
correct.
enforces these laws? I mean,
Well, the Department of Education is
Yep.
basically in charge of that. And if they're not following the law, then they don't get credit for those days. So, you still need days or hours to complete a year. And if you're not following the law, then the Department of Education has the ability not to give credit for those days or hours that they feel they served.
well, the Des Moines School Board must have made some kind of deal with the Department of Education.
No. They're holding them to the fire.
The Department of Education is holding the Des Moines School Board.
Oh yeah, but
Well, what the hell does the Des Moines School Board?
They're
think
just
doing?
defying it.
I know they're defying.
They think they're going to get away with it, and I don't think the legislature or the Department of Education is going to let them do it.
Well, you can't leave that.
It really
up to
sets
some-
a bad example.
Polk County's Democratic. Face the fact. I mean, they're just doing this to thumb their nose at Governor Reynolds and the Republican Senate and House.
But almost every other school district in the state has worked really hard to make this priority to get kids back face to face. We know in Fort Dodge how important it is. I mean, we have 65% free and reduced lunches. Those are the kids that get the rest of their services in school too. So if there's a disabled or
65%. Wow.
almost, yeah. So if there's,
Lucky I got a job, I guess.
disabilities, speech therapy, PT, OT, some people get their mental health therapy there. I mean, if we don't have eyes on these kids, we want to make sure that they're following through with their programs and making sure they're doing okay. Should the schools be in charge of all that? I'm not sure, but they are.
They're the front line.
Right.
They are the front line, and those kids need to be back face to face for a multitude of reasons.
Well, you named your new committee assignment in the committee you now head, and that is what again?
Human resources.
Right. So I will be beating your brains out on that facility that we need here.
Yes,
in,
absolutely.
Webster County.
Mm-hmm.
Probably shouldn't have put it that way. but-
What other? Yeah, that sounded a little angry. What other? What other ones do you have?
It's we need a facility for the mentally ill, so we don't have a repeat.
Oh, I
Hopefully,
agree.
of what happened to Pastor Henderson.
Yeah,
Wasn't he
I
your
agree.
pastor?
Yep.
Yeah, fine
Yeah.
man.
No one disagrees with that.
And I'm still shocked. A year and a half later, I'm still so grossed out about it. I guess anger would be a word. So I guess it's time for me to have a break here. We'll be back with Ann Meyer and Tim Kraayenbrinck. This is AM 1400 KBFD, the voice for Denver.
Michael Devine, the doctor of truth.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to confess?
At AM 1400 KBFD.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-573-9552. That's 800-573-9552. 800-573-9552. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Well, as the world's blandest man, the idea of insurance made for me is almost riveting.
Big fan of beige?
I find other neutrals too unpredictable.
That's cool. Liberty Mutual's just here to protect your home with customized insurance.
And here we've got my doorstop collection.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
With your KVFD News Update, I'm Rob Jones. U.S. Congressman from Iowa's 4th District, Randy Feenstra, has joined the Biofuels Caucus, a bipartisan group of lawmakers forced on